I'll now call to order the April 9th meeting of Public Affairs and wish everybody a good evening again. Starting with item 1, the receipt of reports from the month of March from 2025, property maintenance, parks and rec, and public information. And before we open it up, I just have a few comments to make on each of those. First of all, with respect to property maintenance and parks and rec, I want to mention that we're seeing more programs than ever and involving more facilities than ever. So that means more people, more setup, more breakdowns. So that's happening. We appreciate the extra effort from both Mr. Brown and Mr. Salvatore and his crew. Second, I noticed on the reports the beginning of the reopening for spring of the community centers. A lot of the prep going on in the parks, and we appreciate that too. That's exciting. This is the time of year where we also ask about how the pools are doing. And the reopening, the time of the year, the staffing and all. And thanks again, Mr. Brown. I understand the pumps have been rebuilt so that we'll be able, hopefully, to start the pool season on time. And certainly with good, almost as new, old, new pumps. So thank you for that. I got to mention also in the category of professional development, we saw, and again, kudos to Mr. Salvatore and Ms. Rebitz. Not only was Ms. Rebitz recognized for completing a leadership academy, but also both she and Mr. Salvatore led conference, led discussions at the convention. So love to see that kind of thing, that kind of leadership. Hope to see more of it. And thank you. The professional development is an exciting thing for our staff and doing us proud. Thank you. It's valuable. And thanks to Mr. Dominic for all that he's been doing. I know a lot of the parks are starting again their cleanups, and he's doing a lot with that and the public works crew. So again, thanks for all that. In terms of public information, I think it was Mr. England who mentioned it, but I also had a note. Thanks to Ms. Walter, we all received the spring updates in our mailboxes this past week, and it's a big job, and thank you very much. So now, if staff wants to make any further comments on their reports, go to it, or any questions from commissioners.
Yeah, can I just jump in real quick?
Sure.
And Alan, sorry if I jumped you, Alan, but I do want to call the fact that everything we're doing, commissioners, is truly collaborative. Alan's team has been great in helping us get things prepped. We have big pool plans for this summer. My team obviously is amazing, and you can laugh at that one. And Bob Dominic has been, a true asset to things that we're doing. I think, in prior years, it may not have been a true Parks and Rec. It was kind of Parks and Rec separate. And I think we're doing a really good job through the three different kind of leaders there between Bob, myself, and Alan to really make things cohesive. And Alan, I don't know if you want to add anything to that, but that's kind of how I feel.
Yeah. Thanks, Bill. And thanks, Commissioner Rappaport, for the kind words. So we have been working, I see Bill every day. I don't know how it's a good thing. It's a good thing. It's a good relationship. So we are we are trying to, Bill is trying to program everything, and the maintenance department is really trying to keep up. We do have a lot of stuff going on, and I'm not sure. I'm sure you guys may have known one of our property maintenance technicians, Mike Z, just had a baby, him and his wife on Friday. So congratulations to him. So we're down one person, but we're still trying to keep up. As far as pools, we and Commissioner Rappaport, you kind of mentioned it with the motors. We're trying something new. Our pools are old, one from 78, one 68 and 71, and we're trying to kind of just keep them going as long as possible. With Manager Elliott's permission, the maintenance department just kind of implemented a new preventative maintenance for our pool pumps, for our main pool's filter rooms. So now every year we'll have a company come, kind of remove them from the property, see what's going on, service them before our pool season starts, keep them in storage throughout the winter. That will help with the lifespan of them, and then reinstall them in the springtime. So that's huge and much appreciative, and the residents, I'm sure, will be grateful to know that that's one less thing that may fail throughout our pool season. But we are on schedule. Myself, Bill, Bob, Dominic, Bo, Kyle, we had a meeting at the pools maybe about 2 weeks ago. So we came up with a plan on everybody's part, and everything's moving in the right direction. So thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Walter, did you want to add anything to your report?
I don't have anything to add this month.
Okay, thank you. Commissioner Chirico, I saw your hand up.
Absolutely. Thanks so much. Thank you, Alan, Bob, everybody, for all the work that you're doing for the parks and for our property maintenance. Just a couple questions. I noticed that you've done some work over at Wall Park. Are you also, there has been, I guess, and this is not a new problem, but I'm wondering if there's something inexpensive and simple we can do. Because I know that the fields over there are just overrun with gifts from the geese over there. Gooses, I should say gooses, from the geese over there. And I know this is a problem. I think in years past, we may have used other, certain things to try to kind of keep them at bay. It seems to be worse this year than I remember. I don't know if there's anything that can be done, or any strategies to try to keep them away, or at least limit them over there. Any thoughts?
So go ahead, Bill. You got something?
No, I don't know if Bob's on. I feel like this is Bob's wheelhouse and not ours. But if you know something, Alan, go for it.
I was gonna say, I can jump in if you can't.
I know that over at the pools, I'm not sure about the playgrounds. I know at the pools we'll hang fishing line from light pole to light pole, and that kind of keeps them out for us. Once the first one kind of flies into it, then the rest of them take off. So we've been trying to do that for the last couple of years. It works until we have a big storm, and then something, falls on it, or a line blows, and then once they get in, they know they can get in, and it's pretty crappy after that. But
Literally.
yeah, it's something that we've all been battling. We're battling it all over: parks, pools, schools, even the little wooden dogs that you see in playgrounds. They'll walk right up to that. Oh. And land on top of that. They
Okay, so the wooden dogs don't work. Is that what you're telling me? That's what I was thinking.
We've tried them. We've had some. We still have some in storage. If you want them, we'll gladly give them to you.
Madam Manager, did you have something you wanted to add?
Yeah, I was going to say, in the past, I believe we hired somebody with a dog to patrol some of our parks, and I believe Wall Park was one of those parks. I don't know who that was, unfortunately, but we can see if we can check our records or do some research on that. But it's been a number of years since we've had it patrolled by a dog, but we can get some information on that and get it to you guys to take.
You have to take your dog there.
Yeah,
right.
Well, it's the soccer field, right? So I imagine that's going to be Not a great place to play soccer, with all the goose poop. But
Except if we get a trail around, we can walk the dogs along the trail.
That's not going to
That
scare.
should
That won't scare.
Correct.
put a
No.
dome up there. What do
Won't
you
help.
say?
No, won't help.
Increase the tariff on those Canadian geese.
There you go.
That's good. All right, well, this one we'll working on.
One more quick question. And in light of this time of year when you're kind of taking a look at parks, getting them back up and running, do we do any kind of inspection of the playground right there at Wall Park, the castle, the wooden one? I know that some of those parts of that playground kind of have seen better days, and I just want to make sure that the playground itself is safe. I'm sure you probably do, but I just haven't I didn't see it here, so I just thought of it.
Yeah, so Bob's team does a great job at maintaining that wooden playground. They spot check it weekly, and they add lumber where it needs to be added. Additionally, we did sit down with the township manager a few weeks ago to go through all the playground replacements that are needed within the township, and we're in the process of trying to move some grant money around to be able to do it all. So, we hope to present that to you all at the next meeting.
Wonderful. Awesome. Thank you. That's all the questions I have. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Those are useful. Commissioner Brockington, your turn.
Yes. Hey, Bill, any updates on the concerts in the park? Are we going to be moving them around to different locations this year, or are we still going to be right there at Curtis?
No, we have 9 scheduled with 5 at Curtis and 4 rotating.
Okay.
So I think Renninger, Grove, Veterans, and High School are the 4. And we work with those friends groups to identify what type of music they would want. So they basically selected their bands.
Okay. All right. Thank you, sir.
Yep. We'll have that scheduled out probably next week.
Okay.
Okay,
And I'm sorry, Bill, is Einstein still sponsoring that?
To be determined. They have our sponsorship deck, and the gentleman, it's funny, I followed up with them today. The gentleman who's handled their corporate or whatever sponsors, he's on vacation, so I'll get back to him next week.
Sorry, Ann, for jumping
Hey,
in.
Bill,
No, that's fine.
one other question. Hey, Bill, are there any plans at our pools to do anything special, maybe like on the 4th of July? Or is just
We haven't discussed 4th of July because it's usually pretty big in Abington with their fireworks, as well as the shared parade. But we are doing a lot of specialty programming at the pool this year, so at both pools. So that'll enhance them.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, if there's no further discussion on item 1, move receipt. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Thank you. Item number 2 for public affairs, receipt of the committee meeting minutes. The Historical Commission, the Economic Development Task Force, and the Civil Rights Task Force. Anything from the board on that? Okay, I'll just mention some highlights and some concerns. The Economic Development Task Force continued to bring up the issue of wayfinding signs for Elkins Park East. And that's been an issue for, I'd say, most of a decade at least that I'm aware of. Are we going to get any wayfinding signs for Elkins Park East? Are we looking for grants or anything at this point? New grants, I should say, for that.
Commissioner, I believe there was a point a number of years ago, probably about 5 or 6 years ago, when we applied for a grant and we were unsuccessful in that grant. I know there was some dissension on where the signs should go at that time as well. I don't know that there are any signs at this point that are or grants that are available, but we can take a look at some of the funding sources have changed since then. But we'll take a look. Yeah, it's one of those challenges. It's not it's inexpensive projects, so it kind of goes with where we are in our budget and priorities that we've been working on. So, so yeah, we can look into it a little bit more.
Maybe we should talk to the county. It seems like more something that, and I don't know that we've had our fair share of funding from the county. And
Right.
since they do economic development, maybe this is in their wheelhouse, and I'd like to explore it with them. Tell them we have a real ongoing need, that kind of thing. I think I don't know, if you would prefer that the commissioners reach out rather than doing it administratively, you can let us know afterwards. But I do think this is something it's time to get it done.
Yeah, we'll take a look at the county funding sources. At one point, they did have, like I said, signage was one of the priorities in their funding program. But then they moved, kind of cycle through over the years. So we'll take a look and talk to them. And if
Right.
we don't find anything, we'll send it to you guys to talk to.
And I would make it less about the signs and more about economic development.
Mhm.
To me, that's really the thrust of it, is to support our business district. So, okay, go ahead, Commissioner Chirpin.
Just this week, the county commissioners were touting their commitment to helping
Yep.
small business, downtowns. So I think that if we're not in front of them asking for their help and asking them to walk the streets with us down here, I would suggest that someone on staff invite them down to see where we're struggling and ask for an opportunity to get in front of them. I'm happy to do that if the staff doesn't want to, but I think it's probably best coming from someone on staff. But
Yeah, we will absolutely do that.
All the
Okay.
commercial
It should
districts.
come from,
right?
it should come from,
exactly,
Yes.
not just
Yeah.
Elkins Park East.
Commissioner Arman, that's true, but the signage is a particular issue from Old York Road to notify people that there really is a business district over there. People don't know
I
how to get
understand.
there.
Yeah, no, I understand that uniqueness of that particular location, but if the county is going to come in and look at our downtown
We can show them,
districts,
yeah.
they
And
should see all of it.
during the review of the comprehensive plan, we actually, and I think the zoning and planning office has been at the forefront of this. The county actually has come and walked the business district. So at least some of the planners are very fresh. It's very fresh in their minds, and that's a good thing.
Yeah.
Yes, Commissioner Norris.
Thank you, Madam Chairperson. And I concur with you on your statement that whereas I don't have the facts or the numbers in front of me, my impression is that we have been shortchanged as far as county funds over the years. So rather than talking specifically about asking for funds for the signs, we should ask for that. We should also be asking for help with our businesses in the area throughout the township. And the argument should be made that, like I said, I'm pretty certain that we will be able to prove that we haven't gotten the funds that other areas have gotten. Other areas have gotten lots of money for trails and buying property and making it into an open space area. Frankly, things that don't necessarily apply to us. So we should be going after them specifically for our needs.
Thank you. Ms. Iser, I assume this has to do with this particular
no,
item.
that should go to
before we
public,
vote?
that should go to,
Well, that's what I'm asking. Is this on this particular item, or can your hand wait till citizens forum?
more.
Okay, well,
And let's go to citizen
I'm not
forum.
hearing from you. And I also wanted to add, in terms of the Civil Rights Task Force, just to give the board an update. Again, we're being, it's been very clear that the group wants to continue pushing for a reconstituted Human Relations Commission. They're very upset that we continue to be in violation of our own ordinance on the matter, and they would like this to happen ASAP, especially in the current situation where the civil rights of a lot of our people are being threatened. That needs to, that conversation needs to happen. It needs to be robust. And there also is preparation being made in that committee for the Pride recognition coming up in June. So we'll keep you posted on some of the details, but that's a heads up. We'll go into more detail at our next public affairs meeting. Okay, so if there's no further discussion from the board, I'll move receipt of those minutes. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you. There wasn't a March meeting of the staff, so we'll move on to item 4, old business. For public affairs, anybody with old business? Okay, move on to new business. Item 5, consider recommending the Board of Commissioners award a contract to Goat House Creamery for pool concessions at Conklin and Glenside pools. So that's exciting. Mr. Salvatore, did you want to discuss that any further before we?
I mean, I think the notes are pretty clear. Ms. Hart and I, reviewed the couple RFPs that we got, and truth be told, Goat House was the only concessionaire to show up to the actual snack stands to visit them on the day that we did it. We had a nice conversation, and we're really happy with the decision.
Thank you. Commissioners, anybody? I'll take a motion to
So
recommend.
moved.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
Congratulations. Congratulations.
Madam Chair. Yeah, congratulations. That's just great to have a local vendor
Yes.
Yes.
serving our community. It really to use Commissioner Rappaport's phrase, it really is exciting. So thanks to them, and Bill, thanks to you for shepherding that process.
Happy to do it.
Okay, thank you. Item B, consider recommending the Board of Commissioners appoint Diallo Suleiman of Elkins Park to be a voting member on the Economic Development Task Force. And a few weeks ago, we did receive that information. Any comments? Anybody want to say they know the individual or anything? Okay, I know he was vetted by our staff. I'll move recommendation. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you. Any other new business for public affairs? We'll move to 6, Citizens Forum, and we'll try again. Ms. Iser,
Yes,
hand
sorry,
this up. Okay.
sorry about that. Can you hear me now?
Yes, fine.
Oh, I just wanted to add that I was part of that discussion on the signs. It was about 5 years ago. And if my memory serves me correctly, we also contacted and involved SEPTA in working with us on putting signs in some of those areas. Just to give you a little background history on that as you move forward with that project.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, there was a time too when we thought we could do it as part of the intersection project with PennDOT, but that didn't happen. So, yeah, there could be partners in this, but we'll try to explore it further.
If I could, one more second, Commissioner. What we were thinking of at the time was when people got off the train, that we could have signs that directed them to the business districts to encourage them to use the restaurants, and the shopping was what the thought was on the SEPTA.
Okay, thank you very much.
And I'd like to add, I mean, as much as as I'm supportive of the signs to our business district, I do think, Elkins Park East is not alone. There needs to be focus, I believe, by the township to find ways to beautify the streetscape there as well. There's definitely things that we can do to encourage business owners to improve the appearance of their properties, but also I think there's things that we can do to try to beautify that community, to beautify that area as well. And so I think that should be the larger focus of what can we do as far as economic development to, signs are great, but it's not going to get to, make everything, it's not going to solve all our problems. There is a business owner, however, who over there at Elkins Park East, who is going to be putting a tree right along that 7900 block of High School Road. He's got some architectural renderings that are in the process of being done, and he has some really good ideas and has some money to kind of beautify that part of the streetscape there. And I think that's just something that we really should try to encourage our other businesses to do as well. And I don't know that we do enough to encourage our business owners to take action to beautify the streetscape where they can.
Thank you. Anybody else? All right, everybody stay tuned for the Finance Committee immediately to follow. I'll take a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.